To the last couple of matches, and we go back to that game against Canterbury last week, and I think St George have got to look now seriously at the situation, which seems incapable of defeating a Canterbury side 10 players short. Canterbury, inspired by the return of Steve Mortimer after 9 weeks, were always, I thought, watching the full tape of the game, too enthusiastic, too physical for a St George team, which seems to be incapable of performing simple rugby league functions like keeping the pressure on and holding the ball. Now that is your single major problem at the moment. The ball is not kept for long enough periods.
I think that's right, Rex. Our concentration's lacking. We go all right for 10 minutes, then all of a sudden we fall in a hole. And once again, it's up to the players on the field to get together and to concentrate for the full 80 minutes.
Now, Steve Mortimer comes off his brother here and scores the try. Now, they scored a couple of tries in 6 minutes there. It was one 10-minute period when the whole defence seemed to open up, didn't it?
That's it, Rex. You know, we can't work it out. We don't know what it is. And, well, it is our concentration on the field. We've got to concentrate all the time.
Yet there were flashes of very good football. Now, I see the full tape of every game, and I've looked right through this. There were flashes of very good football, but then you'd have the pressure on, and then somebody would overdo a pass, try to force a pass away, or somebody would lose one in a tackle. And I just can't understand, with so many good players in the team, how so many errors are getting put on.
I think that comes down to communication on the field. If we talk a little bit more on the field and let everybody know where each other is, well, things will get a little bit better.
Well, of course, backs have got no chance of looking good if the forwards aren't firing.
Well,
that's a rugby league truism, isn't it?
That's right. We need forward momentum before you throw the ball out the backs. If you throw the ball out the backs without going forward first, you're only shuffling across field and makes it easy for the defence to pick you up.
Yeah, well, I think the St George team are very short on fundamentals for some reason. I can't work out the reason. I'm not knowledgeable enough about the game to work out why so many good players put the ball down, but we'll come back to that. A couple of things out of the game, separate incidents that we found were pretty good to look at. A very nice tackle by Jones here, or an interference anyway, as he comes across in second cover to get Campbell over the sideline when a try looked well and truly on. St George went close to scoring through Guida in this particular occasion, and it's a nice bit of football with a crisscross move, and there comes Noak on the burst and gets it to Guida. He finishes up only about 3 metres out, but from recollection too, there was a breakdown in play after that play the ball.
I think we dropped the ball.
Yeah, you did, and they're the sort of things I'm talking about. Now, an opportunity to score like this went begging, as Lanane comes up, puts the kick through, actually steals the ball, which is an exceptional thing to do, although Potter did it to a player in a match this year and ran 35 yards and scored. I would have thought Lanane would have certainly engineered a try out of this, but he throws a forward pass and then Kinsella knocks it on. Now, they're the sort of, you know, they're sickening sort of mistakes.
They're the sort of things that you have to make work, don't you, if you want to win a game.
Well, I was astonished at Lanane's. He's so quick normally, and he didn't seem to be able to get away from Sandy Campbell there, and he had a bit of a start, and it was only 20 yards to the line. Anyway, easy to criticise. A few good things out of the game. A very strong performance by young O'Brien in this run. Come up with a long run. It was about 55, 60 yards, and it took a swarm of defenders, better late than never. This fella had a big influence on the game too, Paul Dunn. Have you got any opinions on him?
Well, he's a very big, strong player with a very high work rate. He's very good.
Yes, Kangaroo written all over him as far as I'm concerned. And a nice tackle here coming up on Mullane, who's got the ball. And Potter, your man there, was the defender on that occasion. Now, Steve Mortimer, right at the end, you'd think he would have run out of puff after being out for 9 weeks.
That's right. He caught us napping. He took off from dummy half and straight down the sideline, made about 60 metres.
Yeah. So that was the one there, and that, of course, ended up in a result of 14-11, but Canterbury were a vastly weakened side and really one expected better from St George on the day.
Certainly were, Rex. You know, we take responsibility for that, the players, but we also had a few out. Mick O'Connor, Steve Morris, Pat Jarvis was injured. But, you know, it's no excuse.
No excuse, OK.